American history is rife with violent tales, grisly murderers, massacres, tragic accidents, and suicides litter the historical landscape. These kind of tragedies are apt to give rise to tales of horrifying hauntings. American folklore is chock full of ghosts and ghouls. Many of these supposed specters associated with violence, tragedy, or unsolved crimes. Some of the places associated with these ghost tales have become well known across the nation, and some are all the more terrifying because there's at least some grain of truth buried in those ghastly yarns. Without further ado, close the blinds, dim those lights, cuddle under your favorite blanket, and let's begin. Number 9. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. As far as spooky places go, you can't get much more terrifying than an old asylum. Although many former asylums have been converted since their closure, others are abandoned, but almost all are rumored to be haunted with the ghost of those patients who died in care there. The Trans-Allegheny Asylum in Weston, West Virginia, has been mostly vacant since its closure in the mid-1990s, although a few small museums did operate during the early 2000s. These days, you can take a historic tour, or a ghost tour during the evening. If you're really up for a challenge, take the incentive 8-hour ghost hunt on a Saturday night. This site also served as a post for soldiers during Civil War, so in addition to the rumored spirits of the hundred of mentally ill patients, Civil War ghosts have also been reported to haunt the facility. Number 8. Moundsville Penitentiary. Like asylums, places where prisoners were held are often reported to be full of ghosts. The old Moundsville Penitentiary in West Virginia is one such supposedly haunted jail. These days, the former prison is a tourist attraction, used to host an annual Halloween attraction. But that's not the only spooky thing going on there. Unexplained sounds, voices, cold spots, and even reports of a shadow man have given Moundsville a reputation as one of the most haunted prisons in America. Operating between 1876 and 1995, the facility had a violent history. 94 prisoners were executed, and 36 were murdered by their fellow inmates. One such case was that of R.D. Wall, who was butchered in October 1929. In 1986, 3 inmates were killed during a riot. With stories like that, it is any wonder there'd be a few vengeful spirits still wandering here. Number 7. Sumter Valley Dredge State Heritage Area. Gold was discovered in Sumter, Oregon in 1862, and between 1912 and 1934, 3 gold dredges operated in the Valley District. The dredges weren't overly sophisticated machines, but that didn't make them safe either. 2 people were killed working on the dredges, though neither of them were Joe Bush. In 1918, an oiler named Christopher Rowe was greasing winch gears when the gear started turning and Rowe was sucked in. When the dredge was dismantled to build the new number 3, the gears were moved and some say Rose's ghost moved with them. But reports of haunting didn't pick up steam until the 1940s, when workers claimed that Joe would move tools and eat forgotten lunches. Some also report the ghost causes lights to flicker and doors to open and close. Joe is even said to leave wet footprints on the deck of the dredge. Number 6. Myrtle's Plantation. When Europeans arrived in America, Native Americans had been living on the land for thousands of years. Unfortunately, the new arrivals didn't have much respect for that, and often built right over important cultural sites, including burial grounds. Myrtle's Plantation in St. Francisville near Baton Rouge is one building rumored to be right on top of a Native American burial ground. It is also one of the most haunted houses in America, supposedly the home of no less than 12 ghosts. Legends say that up to 10 murders occurred in the house, but only the murder of William Winter is on record. Along with Winter's ghost, other spectral residents include a young Native American woman, the spirits of a former owner and her 2 children, a murdered slave woman, and at least 1 Civil War soldier, and a young girl who died in 1868, who reportedly practiced voodoo on unsuspecting guests. Number 5. Huntingdon College. The Red Lady of Huntingdon College supposedly haunts the former Pratt Hall on the Montgomery campus, and her story is one many of us can relate to. According to legend, a student named Martha arrived to begin her studies at Huntingdon at the behest of her father. Originally from New York, Martha didn't really want to go to Alabama. The other girls thought she was standoffish and rude, and Martha was unable to make any friends. Embittered, depressed, and lonely, Martha committed suicide by slashing her wrists. The students who found her claimed to have seen red flashes of light shooting out of the room as they approached. Today, students say the date of Martha's death is marked by red flashes of light from the room, and the ghost returns to haunt the building. Number 4. Lizzie Borden House. The murders of Andrew and Abby Borden in 1892 caused a scandal across the nation. No one knows for sure who committed the crime, but the prime suspect was Lizzie Borden, Andrew's daughter. The Bordens were butchered with an axe. As a popular ditty went, Lizzie gave her mother 40 whacks. Lizzie was acquitted at her trial, but no one else was ever charged. Today, the Lizzie Borden house, where the murders took place, is a bed and breakfast. Daily tours will take you to the room where Andrew and Abby were found, as well as to the basement where the axe was supposedly left by the murderer. Ghost hunters say that the house is a hotbed of paranormal activity, and the owners have a number of ghost cameras set up throughout the house. Some report seeing various players in the crime, including the ghost of the victims and Lizzie herself. Number 3. Valeska Axe Murder House. Another famous axe murder case, also unsolved, occurred in the town of Valeska, Iowa, in 1912. 6 members of the Moore family and 2 hapless house guests were bludgeoned to death on the night in June. Several people were tried, but no one was ever convicted of the crime. The house where the murders took place is reported to be haunted. Former tenants claim that they'd seen the shadowy figure of a man standing at the foot of their beds, swinging an axe, and to have heard the sound of children sobbing, closet doors open and close, Outfits are thrown out of dressers, and shoes have been reported to fill with blood and move around the room. The house, which is now a museum, has been investigated by many ghost hunters, some of whom claim to have recorded a man saying things like, "I killed 6 kids." Number 2. Queen Esther's Town Preserve. Many bloody battles were fought in the early days of America, making colonial history ripe for ghosts, like Queen Esther. Legend says that Queen Esther, learning of her son's death, rallied 500+ villagers and raided a farm, killing at least 2 people in September 1778. A 200-man military force engaged the fierce Iroquois warriors of the village. The Iroquois women and children were caught and executed, and Esther was lynched. Today, near Athens, Pennsylvania, some say you can hear the screaming of the victims. Hunters report seeing a young woman weeping in an oak tree. She disappears, and after the sighting, weapons will fail to fire. Some people believe this is the spirit of Queen Esther, trying to prevent more deaths. Others say Esther left a curse that could bring great misfortune to any settler who tried to live on the land where the massacre took place. Number 1. The Bell Witch Cave. Although the Bell Witch might be one of the most famous stories in American paranormal folklore, nobody is quite sure who or what the witch was. Some accounts say that the witch was a poltergeist, while others think it may have been the curse of a neighbor placed upon the Bell family in Adams, Tennessee. Still, others say the neighbor was the witch herself. Whatever the case, the Bell family was tormented between 1817 and 1824. Family members were pinched and prodded, animals were spooked for no seeming reason, and unusual sounds were heard. Eventually, John Bell died, but the witch went on tormenting the family. Even today, Bell family descendants claim to be cursed. Although the Bells no longer own the farm property where the haunting took place, a nearby cave, called the Bell Witch Cave, is reportedly haunted, and reports of paranormal activity continue to this very day. Alright, my lovely lilies, thank you so much for watching the new video. If you can, hit that subscribe and like button, comment below and tell me your thoughts. Also, don't forget to tap the little notification bell so you're always in the know on this channel. As well, guys, you can always find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and always you can hit me up in my emails. Feel free to send me your stories, whether they're fiction or totally true. I'm always up for some great stories. And oh, by the way, until next time, sweet dreams.